Hi there, this is Kazungu Duncan from Ero Productions, and today I'll be showing you how I usually color grade my images in a simple and easy step. And this will be so quick in Photoshop, and we shall do a magic at the end of the day because there's no any tutorial that does not end with a magic in Photoshop. So guys, you know we have a lot to do in this tutorial. Without further ado, let's get started. Back in the magical world of Photoshop, and in case you want to download this image and follow along, you know what to do. Find a link in the description. Now, first of all, you'll have your photo, for example, this photo. Then for me, I didn't want to have the background because as you look at this background, it looks awkward. Not that much awkward, but then I don't like, the background because I took it in my church. So I needed to have a transparent background. And that's why I had already masked out my very, image just to have a transparent background. And I did not want to keep you here, seeing me mask out. I've done so many tutorials on how to remove backgrounds on images. If you have not watched that, please find a link in the description and make sure that you watch. Now, after you have removed your background, we now have to put either a different background or we put a solid color. And in this case, I will use a solid color, maybe 50% gray, and then we shall see how to move on. So I'll head on to, our adjustments, then choose solid color. Then into that, I will choose something like, 50% gray, then hit OK. And then I will drag this and drop so that it is in the background. So we shall use this color, and this is non-destructive. Why? Because I can change this color anytime I want. For example, if I don't want this color, I'll just double click here, just like that, and then I will choose a different color. And you can see now, you can see it is changing. As you change, it is also changing. So you will choose a color that is favorite for you, depending on the type of cloth you're putting on, then that will be fine. So after that, now the color grading starts. So first of all, I will apply some curves. There is no any Ero Productions tutorial that does not end without curves. Okay, I'm just kidding. So I'll just come to adjustment layers, then choose curves, right? After that, I will want just to move this here so that I see what I'm doing. I can as well zoom in because I'm interested in this very part. So I'll just, come here in the midtones and try to crunch this down a little bit, just like that, not too much. And you can see it is also, if I do this, it is also affecting the background. So how can I avoid that? I can simply clip this layer on my, very subject. So maybe I should rename this to subject so that we just remain, organized. So I want to clip every layer that I'm going to add on this layer. And to do that, I'll just come on this line that separates the curve one and the subject and just hold Alt and click, just like that. So any change that I'm going to make, it will only affect my subject. So I'll just try to reduce this, not too much, to something like that. I think that's fine. Then I will come to channels here, and now I will pick the red channel, and I just want to pump in some red from the midtones, just like that. I think that's fine, not too much. I don't want to be reddish, but I just need to have a slight part of red. Then I'll come to green, and I don't want the green, I want something like magenta. So I'll just try to kill the greens, just like that. I think that's fine, not too much. Then I'll come back here and choose blue. Then I will want just to add in some blue, just like that, not too much. Let me see the before, after. Let me hit Ctrl+0. We see that. Then I hit before, after. You can see it has added a lot of stuff. It has added life in this image. You can see now I look so good. Let me see before, after. And you can see now this is totally non-destructive, because in case I need to change anything, I'll just come and double click on this very, curve here, and I can make any change, then I will save it, right? So this is non-destructive. The second thing I want us to do is to apply some levels, and I think that will give us something good, just to bring in some mood. So I'll come to adjustment layers, then choose levels, just like that. Then I will want to bring this level this way, and I don't want it to affect the whole content, so I'll clip it. And you can just come here and you see this icon here, just click on it and it will automatically clip it on this very layer. So any change that I'm making on this will only affect this very subject. So I'll just do that, then bring in some contrast, just like that. Then I will at least lighten these highlights, just like that. And you'll play around with these knobs until you find something cool, but then I promise you it will be so very fine. That's before, that's after. That's a lot of content, right? Before, after. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Without curves, with curves, without levels, with levels. If you feel this is too much, you can basically reduce the opacity of this layer, right? So I'll just come to opacity and reduce, right? So in case you reduce the opacity, you see it is becoming lighter. Or you can just leave it at 100, just like that. Then you come and double click here. We said this is basically non-destructive, and just change these levels, maybe lighten a bit, just like that. Just play around with this and see what it will give you. So levels will give us something good, and it's just giving us a mood, and that's very, very fine. Then the next thing I want us to do very quick is also to come to adjustment layers, then choose Vibrance, just like that. And in the Vibrance, I usually don't do more than 50, so I will play around with maybe 20s or maybe something like 30. Then to see the effect of this, you will have to increase this very saturation. So if I increase the saturation, let me just overdo it so that you see what it is doing. And look at this. So you can just reduce this. As you reduce, you will see its effect. I usually don't like to put much of it because it usually makes my image look bad, right? Let me see the before and the after, and it is affecting everything. The same thing we did. We will just clip this on this very layer, right? So that it affects that layer alone. So before, after, I will reduce the vibrance to something like 22. Then I will also reduce this saturation to something like, I think 6 is fine. Let me see the before, after. It's giving life to this very image. Let me see without vibrance. With vibrance, there's a little change. Without levels, with the levels, you can see the image is gradually coming to life. Then maybe the last adjustment layer we can do is, I think we can do, what do you call it, exposure. Let's see what exposure gives us. I want just to brighten it a bit. So first of all, I will clip this to the layer. Then I will basically, just, let me see that before, after. I think the brightness is a bit enhanced. Let me see. With the exposure, without the exposure. I think the exposure is giving us something good, so I will leave it there. Now you can see the image that we started with. Let me first of all group these filters. Just select the first, that's exposure, then select the last adjustment layer, then hit Ctrl G to create a group of that. Then I will call this filter, just like that. So this is before and this is after. It's really, really good. I've just realized that it is affecting also the background, although it's giving us something good. I guess when I grouped that, it removed the clipping, so I will decide to leave it that way because I also like this very background right now. Let me just see again before. I didn't like that, so I think this also has given us a beautiful background, so I will not tamper with it. So we are through with applying the filters, and you can see the image that we started with was a bit dull and it was not good, but then we have given it life, and look at that. That is very beautiful. So the next thing I want us to do is basically to carry out some camera raw. I was thinking about doing the dodging and the banning, but I made a tutorial for that. So in case you would like to apply on your image the dodging and the banning, please follow this very video. It will lead you to a video I dedicated for dodging and banning, just using one adjustment layer, and of course that is curves. So you will follow that, but then for this tutorial I just want it to be short. So the last thing I will do is to have a camera raw, and of course this is the magic that I was speaking about. So we shall carry out a camera raw, and then we see what it will give us. So first of all, we shall create a stamp visible layer, and to do that you'll just select the topmost layer, and for this example it is our filter. So after you have selected that, you will hold this very combination, Shift, Control, Alt, and then E. So that will create a stamp visible layer. What it does, it only merges all the layers that are below the filters into one layer. Then we shall name this, just to remain organized, camera, just like that. Then the next thing I want us to do is now to convert this to a smart object. So to do that, you will just come to filter, then say convert for smart filters, and hit OK. Then this is now a smart filter. We can now add in the camera raw. So you will come to filter and then camera raw, and you will allow it to load the camera raw. In case you are new to this very YouTube channel, please feel very free to subscribe. That is if you like my content, and not only subscribe, my friend, ring that bell so that you do not miss any future tips, tricks, or tutorials. Now our camera raw has loaded, and my advice is try to play around with these levels, all of them, and see what it will give you. So for my example, I'll just want to maybe give it some warmth, so I'll just increase the temperature to just give it a little bit of the warmth, not too much. Then I'll come to exposure. Remember, we increase the exposure on the other end. So in this one, I recommend that I just reduce it a little bit, just to balance, because in case I increase it will not give me something fine. So maybe I will do maybe negative 0.35. Then on the contrast, I'll just increase it a little bit, not too much. Then on the highlights, let me see if I reduce that, it's not fine. So maybe I'll want to increase that to just bring in some life. So maybe 18 will do me fine. Then I'll come to the shadows. I don't want it to be so dark, so I will pump it up just like that. Then I will come to whites. The whites I'll also increase a little bit, just like that. I will reduce the blacks, not too much. And let me see, something like that. You will do that as you look at your image, how it is affecting your image. Maybe I reduce this to something like 15 or 18. That's fine. Then on the texture, I actually don't like playing with texture, but in case you like texture or grains in your image, you will want to increase that. So I'll just jump to clarity and just increase it a little bit, just like that. Then I want to dehaze. If you want to have some hazing in it, you will want maybe to dehaze it or something, but I don't want to deal with that. When we come to vibrance and saturation, we had already given it an adjustment layer, so I don't think if it is advisable to also do that. So I guess this is what you will do. Let me see the before. That was before. this is after. Maybe I will let me reduce the contrast. I think it is too much, just like that, and also kill this. Let me see the before, after. Then I want to add some vignetting so that I just send a concentration on my subject. So I'll come to effects, then I will try to reduce the amount, just like that. I can reduce it further so that I see where it's affecting. Then the roundness, I will want to, just like that. That's fine. Then the that was midpoint, sorry. Then the roundness, I will want to maybe bring in some. What am I doing? Bring in something like, I guess that's fine. Then I will increase the feathering to kill those hard edges, just like that. Then I will now want to deal with the amount, not too much of it. So I just need a little bit of the darkness on this. So I'll further, I think, let me reduce this a little bit. Then on the roundness, I'll just do something like that. And on the midpoints, I'll also want to do this. So you'll just play around with it until you feel like this is fine. So the reason for vignetting is just to send the concentration on this, my subject, and you make at least to have this shadows on the other end. So that was before, and this is after. Then I can come to tone curve, and I just want to do something on these shadows, just like this. I don't want to kill it so much, because if I leave it, it will be too dark. So maybe something like, let me put here 5. I think 5 will do me fine. So let me see the before. This is before, and this is after. And my friend, I guess this is fine. Then what you will do after you're satisfied, you just hit OK, and Photoshop will apply that as a smart filter. So this is also non-destructive. In case I need to change anything, I'll just double click on this camera raw, right? So let me just hide this. So let's see the before. That is before the camera raw, that is. Then this is after the camera raw. And my friend, this has just made it so beautiful. And my friend, I think I like this. So this is how I usually color grade my images. That is not too much of it, of course. I usually just like to, at least to pump it up. I've done so many other tutorials when it comes to maybe frequency separation, which I've not done here. If your subject has also some, grains or some pimples here and there, like for example, you can see on my nose and some other things. So you will want to clean this using other tools, like for example, the clone stamp tool, maybe the regular healing brush. So that I have done, and I think I've linked that in my description. So in case you want to add in some other things, please find links in the description where you will go and watch separate tutorials which I have dedicated for specific areas in Photoshop. So this was basically to show you how to bring a moodless photo, if I may say, to some mood and to some good image. So that was my before, and this is my after. So my friend, do you like my general content? If the answer is yes, please feel very, very free to subscribe. And not only subscribe, my friend, ring that bell so that you may be notified whenever I upload tutorials and other videos. So I also made a poll last week, and I was asking you what type of content would you like me to make in 2021, and most of you voted for filmmaking, and second was for video editing tutorials. So I am planning on that. I'll now concentrate on those two areas in this year. I will do much of that, but I'm not deviating from Photoshop. So I will also be uploading Photoshop tutorials at least once a week, but then I will also create time to make tutorials about video editing and about film making. And my friend, I just want to tell you, in case you want to donate to this course, please feel very, very free to find a link in the about section, or even in the description where you can donate to this cause. And my friend, in case you like this video, please give me thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend this to other people. You can also share this to your friends so that they can see what I offer. Otherwise, I hope I will see you in my future video. Peace.